Hey, how is everybody? This is Winnie here. You are tuning into a New Human Experience podcast, and today is October the 23rd. I usually do my podcast in the evening, and there'll be people attending. And what happened last night was that it was such a great co-creation. Everybody was really talking about what's going on in their lives. And even though I did record, actually, I did have the live podcast. However, I think because of the rapport that we had with everybody at the moment, it really didn't feel right for me to do what I usually do is to just share my screen and show a picture, a still picture, and then I'll be talking in the background and hiding everybody's face. So it really didn't feel right for me to lose eye contact with them. That's why I ended up not recording the really talk part of last night's theme, which is balancing the emotional body. And for the sake of continuity, though, I still would like to record this after the fact, and it will be I would say, a modified version from all the discussion that really occurred last night. It actually made my talk more meaningful and more poignant. So that's why so for the sake of other people who was not able to participate live, I still want to have a recording to talk about how to balance our emotional body, so that people who are following the series of theme for the October, which is balance. So here we go. I'm gonna start doing the share screen and talk about what the emotional body really is, and some of the reasons why it may get unbalanced or in disbalance, and then some of the suggestions that I have about how to go about balancing your own emotional body. So here we go. Let's share screen. Okay, so just to introduce again, the topic for tonight is balancing the emotional body. And today is October the 23rd. So the theme for this whole month of October is balance. And we've talked about how to balance the body, how to balance our energy body. And so the topic for this podcast is how to balance the emotional body. And of course, first, I would like to really talk about what is the emotional body, because um, so where's the emotional body? You may want to ask, because I know where my physical body is, but where is my emotional body? A what is an emotional body? Well, there's more than like, we think that we are this body, but we actually are much more than this body. Um, who we are is made up of some parts that are physical. Anybody can with eyes can see. Anybody with a sense of touch would be able to just come up and touch and be able to feel something there. So that is our physical body. However, we are more than just a physical body. And there are other parts, the more main parts of us is our soul. We cannot see our soul, but we definitely have a soul. And a lot of people really don't actually know that when we say soul, we actually referring to the energetic part of us. But even within the soul itself, there are actually at least two components. There is the earth component, so what I would call an entity, or another alternative name for it is the earth soul. So that's the soul that has always been on earth and always will be on earth, because they are part of the earth environment itself. So that energetic part of earth is the earth soul part, and the earth soul part really knows all about how to play on earth. However, our soul also has another component, which is the cosmic part of us. And most of the time, when we refer to soul, a lot of people may be referring to this part of us because the cosmic part of our soul may come and have an experience on earth, maybe, one or two lifetimes, and it will decide to go, let's say, going to Mars, for example, or go to Jupiter, or go to a completely different galaxy to have experiences. So the soul can go anywhere in on any planets, have multiple layers that every time would have all these experiences. And so that's the cosmic part of our soul. And there is really synergy in bringing the cosmic part of the soul together with the earthbound soul, because the earth soul is the part of us that it's part of the planet itself. So it does not have all the experiences of living on different planets, living on in different galaxies, and also traveling to all over. Right now, the most people on Earth has not traveled to different galaxies yet. That's something that we can create in the future. But for now, as of what I'm 23rd of October 2020, most people have not been to other planets. Some people have been to moon, but that's whether moon is an actual planet, that's up for debate. And so just to focus back on the topic here is about balancing the emotional body. So our emotional body is actually part of that like energetic part of us. So it's not really part of our cosmic soul, nor is that part of our earth soul. It's part of the earth experience, so that that our emotional body can enhance how our physical body can embody the soul parts, like whether it is the earth soul or the cosmic soul parts of us. So you can think of emotional body as it's kind of like a program that allows us to have a more vivid experience, so that when we feel sad, we can actually feel it in our whole body and really be accentuated. So the role of emotional body is to really give us a more vivid experience. And because its role is to give us a more vivid experience, that's why sometimes when we are stimulated, or if something like, or if things just keep happening, then we get overwhelmed. So that's when the emotional body can get out of balance. So let me or let me say that in a different words. So if you can switch from emotion to emotion, one moment you hear somebody crack a joke, and you can just laugh and hold your belly and maybe even roll on the floor, kind of laugh. And then when you hear that something bad happened, you can feel the sadness, or maybe the worry, those things. So that's normal when you can switch from emotion to emotion depending on what's happening. That's normal. That's how that's really normal experience that's giving us. However, when you have completely overstimulated and you are stuck in one emotion, let's say you're stuck in anger, so whatever people say, even if somebody crack a joke, or you can like you actually be angry that, let's say, somebody crack a joke about that's racially colored, you would be angry that, yeah, what a racist. So instead of laughing at the joke like a normal human being, you actually get angry. And no matter what happens, you are stuck in this mode of anger. Then you know that your emotional body is imbalanced, because you cannot move. There's no fluidity to it. That's that's when you know that your emotional body is imbalanced. And that's some that oftentimes happens, especially now that everything is rather intense. I don't know whether you have noticed that we are all being bombarded by messages of fear. You have to fear because, if you don't wear a mask, you don't wash your hands enough, if you stand too close, all of those things. So this we are being bombarded by messages of fear, fear, fear. So that can um, unbalance our emotional body. So then we know how to tell whether our emotional body is balanced or not. The next thing is, how do we get our emotional body back to balance? So I would love to be able to tell you that there is a magic formula. All you have to do is take step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and bam, you're done. Unfortunately, um, it's not as simple as that. So why is it not simple? It's because emotions. It's actually quite simple. Emotions is it's like a child. It's like a 3-year-old. Emotions simply need to be acknowledged and just need your attention and your love and acceptance. That's all emotion is. That's all you need to do to get yourself out of an emotion under normal circumstances. So let's say when you are really sad, then in and then so instead of worrying about, I need to do this and that, what the emotions is needing from you is for you to simply stop what you're doing and acknowledge, yes, I'm feeling sad right now, so let me just um, be with this sadness for a little bit. And sadness, the emotion is an energy. So when you try to run away from something, you actually stop the process. You stop the energy from just expressing fully in your body. If the energy or the emotions, if it's able for you to simply be with yourself and just sit down and have a quiet moment and just allow that emotion, sadness, anger, whatever it is, to just come through your body and be fully expressed. Meaning you feel it fully without judging it, without resisting it, and without lashing out as well, without fighting it, without resisting it. Simply allow this energy to move through you. And I guarantee you that your body knows how to process energy. That's what it's for. The body will not work with you if you have any resistance. Because when you say, oh, I shouldn't be feeling this, or you may have some beliefs and say, oh, instead of giving myself this time to really feel the sadness and move through it, I need to actually keep myself busy. I have to make sure I book 20 appointments every day, and make sure that I go out and help everyone else rather than give myself the time and space and permission to work through this energy, which a lot of the times because the environment of our life is so hectic that we have been conditioned to not look at our emotions or to downplay it, to actually just say, oh, okay, keep an upper lip, or oh, it's not professional, like all of those judgments, which actually work against you. Emotions is emotions are just like a child, a 3-year-old child. Acknowledge it, just slow down and let that emotion move through you without judging, without lashing out, without reacting. Simply be with it and allow it to be fully experienced in your body, and then let go, and then it's done. And then afterwards, if there is still action that is required because of the event that triggered that emotion, then yes, then you can actually go and take those actions if it still feels right. However, when you're in the grip of an emotion and you're trying to take action, then because your thinking is really hijacked, so the actions that you take may not be the most appropriate for that occasion. So that actually is what emotion is give you a accentuation. So there is nothing complicated about it. If we take the time to really pay attention to our emotions and process each emotion, then we won't be unbalanced. Our emotional body would be fluid, and we'll be able to just move through the day without feeling this always stuck on anger, or always stuck on sadness, or whatever the emotion that you is your baseline. However, if the imbalance usually come in when we have um, usually two ways is imbalance is when it's something that is physiological, meaning that if there is a chemical imbalance because of some, let's say because of some accidents or some birth defects, whatever the reason, there is a physiological part of it. And then there's one way that our emotional body may be imbalanced, and the other way that our emotional body can be imbalanced is because of spiritual reasons. So, why spiritual reasons? What do I mean by spiritual reasons? Um, so, I just want to define what I mean by spiritual reasons. So, we have a physical body. However, we are more than our physical body. However, so the spiritual is really about connection, is our physical body, the physical part of us, being connected to the non-physical part of us. And when there is harmony between the two, then um, your spirituality is in balance. However, if you are only paying attention to the physical part of you and you totally ignore all the non-physical part of you, you become disconnected. And then that's when there is a spiritual imbalance. And when you are spiritually imbalanced, then one of the symptoms would be emotional imbalance, because there is this disconnection to who you truly are. And when there is that disconnection, then just the physical part of you, it's like you're being chopped. You're being chopped into multiple parts, and you're only trying to create a life, or trying to live life from being a fraction of who you are. And that actually exposes yourself to um, being suffering from these emotional imbalance. So when there's emotional imbalance, then it is a symptom. And that's why there is no formula, because how you manage to disconnect from the totality of who you are is unique for everyone. And yes, there may be some things that I can still suggest for you to do. However, it's more of a unique way that you have to start to untangle and start to reconnect yourself from, and reconnect your physical being and your non-physical being. And when you are able to accept all parts of you, then emotional balance is a direct result of that. So then let me just give you a few of the suggestions that I can still give you without giving you a formula. So the first thing I highly suggest, if you are feeling yourself being stuck in a certain emotion and not being able to experience the fluidity of the range of emotions that can enhance your how you enjoy life or not, the first thing is to really make a commitment to yourself. And that is really the most difficult part, because we can all be saying right now, oh, I have an imbalance, let's go and balance me out, rah rah rah, and we have that. And so it's easy to take one um, action. However, you need to make a commitment, because the thing about reconnecting with yourself and balancing your own emotion is that it's not something that you can do in one day. It's not something that you can do in one week. It may take you a while to make that connection, to really have that um, connection fully integrated within your life. So the commitment has to come in, because you will fail. You may say, oh yes, let's go balance my life today, but tomorrow when you wake up, there are other things, life gets in the way and you get distracted, and it's very easy in the beginning to get back into the old routine, being disconnected with yourself, because you have been disconnected so long that disconnection has become the norm. So when you start to try to reconnect with all parts of yourself, you need commitment. It is really a commitment to yourself. And it sounds very, it may, some people may think of that as being selfish, but actually that is the most unselfish thing you can possibly do. Because when you are reconnected with who you are, you actually benefit everyone around you, because everyone around you will be able to see you as the example that may inspire them to take that, to make that commitment to themselves as well. So you have to really understand that, because we are energetic bodies, we are energetic, and even our body is simply energy in a very different form from the non-physical part of us. So energetic bodies, we can look at our physical body and say that I am not connected with someone else. However, if you consider the energetic body as well, then you know that we are all interconnected. And when you start to connect yourself, you, even without talking and letting anyone else know about what you're doing, you are already doing something energetically that's going to affect them. And no one around you will be in integrity with you if they start to behave in ways that is disconnected, because your connection will actually show up in them. And it's not that you have to cut them out of your life. It's just that you will start to hold that up in their face, and it is really up to them to make the choice of whether they want to reconnect to who they truly are, the totality of themselves. So that's why making a commitment to yourself is so important, because you're not just doing this for yourself, even though you are probably the person that is going to benefit most from it, but everyone else around you also benefit from it, whether they do the work themselves or not. So first suggestion is to make that commitment to yourself, no matter how long it takes. So don't give yourself a a deadline and say, okay, I want to reconnect with who I am in 3 months time, let's go, that's my goal. You may be able to do it, absolutely. However, don't you may not be able to do it as well. That's, it's a 50-50 chance, depending on how much you want to devote to it, and also how much your soul is participating in being able to go through that process. So you can set that commitment for yourself and commit to a timeline for taking actions, but don't really commit to a timeline for getting the results, because some things, it's like, even if you want to like New Year resolution, it takes like 21 days to get yourself back into a routine. And and so it's going to take you a while, and there'll be times when you are going to fall flat and fail. You may become discouraged about taking the action but not yet seeing the results. However, the commitment is to take the actions and allow the results to come in um, when it's appropriate. And I cannot tell you how long that's going to be. You may be able to do it in a couple of weeks. You may be able to do it in a couple of months, or it may take you a couple of years. And there's really no deadline to how much you can reconnect with yourself, because ultimately, um, if we are totally integrated with ourselves, we would become the creator, the universal creator. So we're all in the process of doing that, of integrating, and we are all in this learning process. So you are just committing to starting the journey. So that's my first suggestion. And the second suggestion is to really process fear, because the emotions you are maybe stuck in could be sadness, could be guilt, could be shame, could be anger. However, if you really dig deep, the underlying emotion that is fueling all of the other things is really fear. Because we are in our body, and the body is the part of us that can be hurt, that can die, that can get a cut, can bleed. Our energetic parts don't have that. So when you want to make that reconnection, is you need to really let your body know that it's going to be okay, because it's a very new experience for your body. If you have been so disconnected with yourself that you become imbalanced, is this fear that is I would say innate within the body. Within the body, there's this fear program. And when you are more reconnected with yourself, then that fear will drop down. And at some point, you would not even, that would not be the underlying condition anymore. But when you're disconnected, when you're starting from being disconnected to the energetic part of you, then this fear is in your body. It's in the physical part of you, because the physical part of you is the most vulnerable part of you. It's also I would say, the most colorful part of you as well, though. So that's why we have this body, so that we can experience. However, to work with connecting to all parts of us, processing fear is it's really important part of the journey. Regardless of what emotions you may be stuck at, there is fear behind it, because this fear is coming from the disconnected body. So address that fear, do the fear processing. How to do fear processing? Well, fear is simply an emotion, so just treat it as anything else. Is to simply sit with it, so simply be with this fear. Feel the fear wherever it is that's in your body, and really just be with it. Acknowledge it, and give yourself the time and space to just sit with it, and also accept it, and also just give it unconditional love. Because I mentioned that emotions is like a child, like a 3-year-old. So the only way to really connect with a 3-year-old and really calm them down and really get to them is really love them unconditionally, even when this emotions, this fear may be um, like getting you to do all sorts of crazy things. However, give yourself this time and space to acknowledge and to be with the fear and to send this fear unconditional love. And when you send yourself, send your body as well, this unconditional love. When you really take the time to love your body and not try to fight with your body and say, oh, you're too fat, you're too skinny, you're too tall, you're too short, and not try to criticize your body and really love your body unconditionally and accept your body, then you can start to calm down that fear that is from your body because of disconnection. And then when you've done enough of the fear processing and also sitting with your own emotions and letting your body do what it knows how to do, which is to process the emotions and the energy, then start to connect with yourself. The connection with yourself. So, because the all of that imbalance is because of disconnection. So the antidote is connection. Connect with your body, connect with your soul, connect with your earth soul, connect with your cosmic soul. Just um, just be with those energetic part of yourself and start to send the intention that I am ready to listen, and then wait for the answer to come. It may not come the first time you just sit with yourself. It may not come like 10 times, but if you make that commitment, that connection will start. And you will start by just having some gut feeling, some hunches, and then the more you become comfortable with that, then the more you establish and strengthen that connection with the energetic parts of you, and then your soul, whether it is your earth soul or your cosmic soul, is actually always trying to communicate with you. And when you actually start to communicate back with them and starting to welcome that connection, then what can happen? Anything can happen. It's really up to every one of you. And I can't really begin to tell you what can or cannot happen because it is really between you and your soul. And of course, the last thing, which I kind of inferred, but I want to actually overtly talk about it as well, is to love yourself unconditionally. So love your body unconditionally, love the parts that you cannot physically see yet unconditionally. So unconditional love is really the energy that is going to start to connect that and create that bridge between the physical and the non-physical parts of you. So when you, that's why a lot of the physical trauma, whenever you have any kind of physical trauma, whether it is an accident or whether it is like verbal abuse, like verbal or emotional trauma, those actually it makes you contract. It actually like makes you shut down. It makes you harder to be able to connect to all the other parts of you. And when you actually can start to really love who you are, love your body, and love everything that is happening in your life, and unconditionally accept all of that, and really have no judgment about what it is that is playing out in your life. When you are in that energy of unconditional love, that's when the wholeness of your being will be able to flower and really to come out and be expressed fully. So those are really the four suggestions that I would recommend for you to start to take those four suggestions and start to co-create your own healing journey of balancing your emotional body. So thank you very much for tuning in. I love you. And next would be the meditation.